Creating a general tier list of all heroes is not easy. The strength of a hero is highly dependent on army composition, skills, and its unit. In this list, I try to rank the heroes by their best possible setup, by also taking into consideration how strong they are under suboptimal circumstances. I mainly judge them on their strength in PvP and late game high level PvE. One more thing. This tier list reflects my personal opinion. As a free-to-play player, I don't have the luxury of testing every hero in depth, so it will not be perfect, and I am open to discussions here in the comments or on Discord. Heracles is by far the most overpowered hero after the November patch. Giving him a revolt, plus increasing his damage, plus increasing the number of his targets, plus reducing the procs he needs to trigger. Even a person without game knowledge would have realized that that's a crazy overbuff. Additionally, his main skill is an engage skill, making it immune to all control except for disorient and the rare exhaust, and giving it the ability to proc faster and consistently. This trend shows itself throughout the OP and S tier. Nearly all strong heroes in the current meta have an engage or a passive main skill. A well-built Pericles army can grant his main skill unbelievable amounts of procs, which leads to both high burst damage and insane consistent damage throughout longer fights. And if all that was not enough, his revolt can provide crazy amounts of healing. Qin Shi Huang is a consistently broken hero who can be splashed in nearly any comp. With his fast and consistent control effect, he was perfect in the pre-November patch control heavy meta. And his main skill is of course an engage skill. With his potential to deal massive burst damage within the first turn, Qin Shi Huang is also amazing in the current meta, where many armies rely on outbursting their enemies within the first turn. Sun Tzu is, after Pericles, the second biggest winner of the November patch. He lost his status as a unique hero, but became stronger now that his main skill can deal damage. Mark Antony is currently the best vanguard in the game. With city garrison and counter, he can provide heroes such as Pericles and Sun Tzu with huge amounts of damage procs for their main skills. Saladin is currently the best combo support hero, and the king of first turn kills. His main skill only applies to cavalry heroes though, which makes him a little bit conditional. Tomaris not only got buffed in the November patch, but she also got double attack on her promoted title. With that, she is able to deal massive amounts of burst damage, making her the only non-engage hero in the S tier, next to Gilgamesh. Maria Theresa may not be as strong of a combo support as Saladin, but she is far more versatile. She can be used as vanguard in any burst combo army. Cleopatra not only got directly buffed, but also thrived in the current meta that is dominated by male heroes. Except for Tomiris and Boudica, there is no female damage dealer in the S or A tier. So she does really well, even without her unique title. Caesar has always been the best healer in the game. Yusunshin gained popularity as a vanguard, with city garrison and counter. With this setup, his engaged main skill can be procced consistently and ping-ponged with Pericles and Sun Tzu. If he's not played as a vanguard with counter though, he is not an S tier hero. Gilgamesh is another hero that got buffed to the top of the tier list in the November patch. He can work together with Saladin and deal absurd amounts of damage in the first turn. With a basic title composed, he is even partially immune to this biggest counter, preemptive action. Seondeok is another hero with an engaged damage and heal skill. She is not as good as Pericles or Sun Tzu, but still very strong. Baiki is an amazing damage dealer with an engaged main skill, but he desperately needs Qin Shi Huang in his team to be effective. Without Qin Shi Huang, Baiki is rather underwhelming and not bursty enough. Since I started playing the game in October 2023, Joan of Arc has always been on top of the tier list and the dream of every player. Putting her in A tier hurts me, but it's a sentiment to the currently weak state of active skills. With his consistent engaged damage main skill, double-titled Lepidus is a great fit for survival armies. Meng Tian once was stronger, in a time where active skills were more relevant to the meta. With the November patch buffs and his high base stats, he still is a great vanguard. And as a solid part of the currently best bond in the game, the Chinese bond, he deserves a spot in the A tier. Outside of his bond, however, I would rather retire him for total blockade than playing him. With her November patch buffs, Boudica became a niche but decent damage dealer. It is hard for me to place Queen Elizabeth, because I don't have much experience in fighting with or against her. She seems to do well as a vanguard in heal-heavy survival armies. Frederick is a good combo support and secondary damage dealer for attack damage combo armies. The double attack from his promoted unique title further boosts his power. William Wallace is the anti-heal hero. His active main skill loses out to fast and bursty armies and to total blockade, but does a great job against survival armies that depend on high amounts of healing. Napoleon has one of the best active main skills in the game. It deals decent damage, stuns 2 enemies, has a range of 5 and 40% trigger rate without preparation. Richard is the strongest attack damage combo hero. Sejong the Great is a great hero if he has damage share. He gets that through the modern era unit Heavy SPG. Without that unit, I would not play Sejong at all. If he only had one more range, he would easily be an S tier hero. With the rise of more bursty combo armies, George Washington and the American Bond have fallen out of the meta. But he still is a great combo captain. I would have never thought that I would place Nzinga and Bundle this high, but I have seen a fully tiled African Bond army, with preemptive strike on Nzinga and crushing blow on Mansa Musa, that does quite well against some meta armies. As an army that is heavily relying on active skills, it is really weak against silence and stun though, so I would not place Nzinga above B tier. Mansa Musa is the other core part of the African Bond. His exhaust is, next to disorient, the only way to control engage skills. Miyamoto Musashi had a great rework to a control hero in the November patch. He is best used as a vanguard with Guardian Sword. With many new sources of double attack, Victoria lost some priority. Still, she's a great combo support and secondary damage dealer in armies that don't get double attack through other means. Queen Judith is like a budget Jeanne. Due to the currently weak state of active skills, she's only in B tier. Arthur Wellesley is a decent vanguard hero that reduces enemies' defensive stats significantly. He's not played often though, because most burst armies that could use him simply have better vanguard options. Before his massive nerfs on the November patch, Spartacus was one of the strongest vanguards and the centerpiece of the heroic heart bond that was dominating the meta. Now, the bond is only a shadow of its old self, but still does well in early game PvE. Casimir is one of the 3 main combo support vanguards, next to Maria and Saladin. He is slower, but more useful if a battle goes past the first few turns. But currently, burst combo armies are much stronger, so Casimir is a B tier hero at best. Coupe is a decent attack damage combo captain. Like Gilgamesh, he has the basic title Composed, which makes him partially immune to preemptive action. Alexander the Great is one of the strongest active damage heroes. His active main skill has a 100% trigger rate, making him great in combination with heroes that play around active skill activations, such as Oda or Sanada. Charlemagne got buffed significantly in the November patch, and now is one of the strongest active skill damage dealers. Otto von Bismarck is a fine attack damage combo captain. In contrast to his other 2 teammates from the German Bond, Otto is not often played. Similar to Casimir, Nathanael is a rather slow but steady combo support. This does not fit the current meta. With his promoted title, he can still be useful though. Takeshi Mitsuhide is the captain sniper. Unfortunately, he is too slow, inconsistent and too vulnerable to control to be relevant in the current meta. Sanada is a decent control hero who can be played both as attack damage dealer and as vanguard. His reliance on active skill activations makes him hard to pull off in the current meta though. Oda is a decent vanguard hero. Similar to Sanada, he is reliant on the activation of active skills. I already talked about the heroic heart bond when I placed Spartacus. Outside of that, Queen Dido is a decent healer, but her debuff effect is too specific and not very useful in the current meta. El Cid has the highest damage rate of all skills on his main skill. With his November patch buffs and his unique title promotion, his biggest downside, consistency, got a little bit better. Ryu is similar to Sejong. If he had one more range, he would be one of the best vanguards of the meta. But as he is now, He's worse than Seong because his main skill only reacts to basic attacks and not to damage in general. With his Protect, Gebak is a natural user of counter. Unfortunately, his low base stats and the lack of damage or debuff on his main skill stand in the way of him becoming a meta hero. Hannibal's engaged main skill is similar to Sun Tzu. Unfortunately, the cap of 3 assist tags per hero per turn and the lack of a damage part are too restrictive to make Hannibal a relevant hero for the meta. To compensate the nerfs to the heroic heart bond, Mulan got a little damage buff in the November patch. She's a decent attack damage active hero. The militarist bond got heavily nerfed in the November patch. Since then, Harald lost all relevance to the meta. He still is a decent attack damage active hero though. Nebuchadnezzar is a little weird. He has the main skill of a captain, but his base stats and basic attack range don't fit that role. Furthermore, his main skill could be good with both attack and intelligent active skills, but his abysmally low base intelligence takes that opportunity away. In the end, he is a weaker version of Boudica with a higher damage potential, but no control immunity. The November patch rework elevated King David out of the trash tier. He would have been a decent holder for City Garrison plus counter, if he just had one more basic attack range. Shishi's main skill would be overpowered if it had a higher trigger rate and no preparation. In its current state, it is too inconsistent to be relevant. She can find a niche use as an active intelligence damage captain due to the silence resistance on her unique title, but even for that special case, double title Boudica is far superior. With his ability to cleanse all allies, Cyrus would have been a great vanguard hero if his main skill would not rely on losing troops. With his high base value and the range of 5 on his main skill, Takeda Shingen can be played flexibly on any position. Unfortunately, his main skill is active though, which makes it too slow for the current meta. Charles Martel is a funny Russian roulette hero, but he is too unpredictable to be considered in any serious composition. Shaka is the weakest part of the African bond. Daijang Gyom is a simple healer with a consistent engaged main skill. Unfortunately, the scaling on her heal is too low for her to be strong. The initiative that she gets through her main skill is interesting, though I have not seen any creative way to use it yet. With his unique title, plus City Garrison, plus counter, Tutmos should be able to reliably stack his main skill. Still, it would be too slow and a waste of City Garrison. Rameses has a stacking active damage main skill with preparation. Too slow and inconsistent. Active heal skills such as Toyotomi's main skill are unfortunately too inconsistent and too vulnerable to control. Minamoto can be a decent holder of counter once you unlock his unique title, but unfortunately an active main skill that taunts is too slow and inconsistent for the current meta. There are just too many better vanguards in the game. While everyone else got buffed in the November patch, Taijo didn't get any love at all. He is in a dire need of a rework. All relevant combo armies rely on burst damage within the first few turns to win the battle. Damage over time effects like the panic from Taijo's main skill are the complete opposite of burst. Furthermore, combo skills are designed to be activated multiple times per turn, but panic does not stack, so Taijo is destined to lose out on a lot of damage during every battle. Kutuzov has always been the weakest part of the militarist bond. Now that the bond effect has become a bad joke, Kutuzov is completely useless. He does not even have a basic attack range of 3 to make effective use of his unique title. Leonidas is the weakest golden damage hero. Everyone gets him in the beginning of Season 1 and should use him for the first few levels, but after you receive Harald, you should level swap him out and retire him. Montezuma and Kutuzov always have been a joke. Purple fodder disguised as golden heroes that are used to make fool out of players who see the legendary pull animation and get hope. Exactly because of this joke I tried to make him work. Conclusion, he is useless. Eleanor got reworked from useless vanguard to useless heal support. Most purple heal skills heal more than her. Next to Alexander the Great, she has the only 100% trigger rate active skill in the game. which could lead to some interesting combinations with heroes such as Sanada or Oda. But I am confident to say, she's undoubtedly the worst golden hero in the game.